Assalamu alaikum everyone, welcome back, and we are still discussing number sequences. Now in the last video we talked about the types of sequences जिसमें से हमने arithmetic sequence कर लिया हुआ है. In this video we will talk about quadratic and cubic sequences. अब सबसे पहले तो whenever you have a sequence or any question that you are doing, the first thing is check if the sequence is arithmetic. ठीक है, क्यों? क्योंकि अरिथमेटिक सीक्वेंसेस आर यूजुअली द ईजीएस्ट टू आइडेंटिफाई. ये एक कांस्टेंट नंबर ऐड हो रहा होता है या एक कांस्टेंट नंबर सब्ट्रैक्ट हो रहा होता है. इफ़ द सीक्वेंस इज़ not an arithmetic sequence, if you cannot identify the sequence as an arithmetic sequence, then it can be either of the other three types. It can be a quadratic, it can be a cubic, or it can be a triangular number sequence. Let's start with quadratic sequences. In a quadratic sequence, the second difference is constant. Now what do I mean by the second difference? For example, आपके पास ये एक sequence है. अब इसमें से आपका जो first difference होगा 4 minus 1, first, the next term minus the previous term, which is 4 minus 1, will equal to 3. 9 minus 4 will equal to 5. 16 minus 9 will equal to 7. 25 minus 16 will equal to 9. 36 minus 25 will equal to 11. Now you can see it's not an arithmetic sequence. Why? Because this difference is not constant. It is increasing. अब अगर मैं second difference निकालूँ, second difference is basically जो आपका common difference है उसका difference. That means 5 minus 3 which is 2, 7 minus 5 which is 2, 9 minus 7 which is 2, 11 minus 9 which is also 2. So always remember that in a quadratic sequence the second difference is constant. और second difference क्या होता है? Difference of difference, and you usually denote it as D2. Quadratic sequences usually deal with square numbers, या इनके expressions में usually आपको n square नज़र आएगा. The most basic quadratic sequence can be n square. मतलब क्या है कि अगर first term है तो n is equals to 1 का square which is 1. अगर n is equals to 2 है which is the second term, that means 2 square which is 4. अगर n is equals to 3 है which is the third term, that means 3 square which is 9, and so on. So you can see the sequence over here is basically n square. Now that you have an idea of what a quadratic sequence is, let's try to identify a few sequences and see if they are an arithmetic or a quadratic sequence, since these are the only two that you have done. Pause the video, try to identify each sequence, and we will do it together in a few minutes. Okay, I hope you've tried to solve these questions on your own. Let's try to do it. Pehla is 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15. Let's try to calculate the first difference. 7 minus 5 is 2. 9 minus 7 is 2. 11 minus 9 is 2. 13 minus 11 is 2. 15 minus 13 is 2. So this is an arithmetic sequence. कैसे पता? क्योंकि you are constantly adding the same number which is 2 to the previous term to get the next term. So this is going to be an arithmetic sequence. अगले पे आ जाए. Now in the next one, let's try to calculate the common difference again. 6 minus 11 is going to be minus 5. 1 minus 6 is again going to be minus 5. Minus 4 minus 1 is going to be minus 5. Minus 9 minus 4 is going to be minus 9 plus 4, which is again equal to minus 5. So this is again going to be an arithmetic sequence. Let's come to the next one. Let's try to calculate the first difference. 6 minus 4 is 2. 10 minus 6 is 4. 16 minus 10 is 6. 24 minus 16 is 8. Now you can see that this is clearly not an arithmetic sequence, क्योंकि आप एक ही चीज़ बार बार ऐड नहीं कर रहे. आप 2 ऐड कर रहे हो पहले, फिर आप 4 ऐड कर रहे हो, फिर आप 6 ऐड कर रहे हो, फिर आप 8 ऐड कर रहे हो. So this is not an arithmetic sequence. Let's try to calculate the second difference. 4 minus 2 is 2. 6 minus 4 is again 2. 8 minus 6 is again 2. Now the second difference, which is d2, is constant. So this means this is a quadratic sequence. ठीक है. अब ज़रूरी नहीं है एक सीक्वेंस अगर अरिथमेटिक नहीं है तो वो हमेशा क्वाड्रेटिक होता है. इन दिस केस वी फर्स्ट चेक्ड इफ इट वाज एन अरिथमेटिक सीक्वेंस, एंड देन इफ इट वाज नॉट एन अरिथमेटिक सीक्वेंस वी चेक्ड फॉर अ क्वाड्रेटिक सीक्वेंस, क्योंकि सवाल में वो आपसे पूछ रहे थे वो अरिथमेटिक है या क्वाड्रेटिक है. अगेन लेट्स try to solve the last one. 8 minus 5 is 3. 13 minus 8 is 5. 20 minus 13 is 7. 29 minus 20 is 9. Again, it's not an arithmetic sequence because you can see that the difference is not constant. Let's try to calculate the second difference. 5 minus 3 is 2. 7 minus 5 is 2. 9 minus 7 is 2. Again, d2 constant है तो ये आपके पास एक quadratic sequence है. Now d2 is not always 2. All the examples that we have done उसमें आपका 2 आ रहा है, but ज़रूरी नहीं है d2 हमेशा 2 हो. वो कोई भी नंबर हो सकता है. It should just be equal to a constant. That means it should just be equal to the same number every time. Now, like you did a general formula for arithmetic sequence, which if you can recall was a plus n minus 1 into the common difference, you also have a general formula for quadratic sequences, and that general formula is basically the nth term of a quadratic sequence will equal to a plus n minus 1 into d1 plus d2 over 2 into n minus 1 into n minus 2. अब ये terms आपकी है क्या? a again like an arithmetic sequence is the first term of your sequence, ठीक है. n like an arithmetic sequence is the term number. So let's say you want to calculate the 15th term, so उसका term number क्या होगा? 15. तो n उस केस में क्या हो जाएगा? 15. d1 is the second term of the sequence minus the first term, जो भी है वो, और d2 आपके पास is the second difference which we said is constant for a quadratic sequence. For example, let's try to work out the expression for the nth term of this sequence. अब सबसे पहले, let's say this is the only question that you have in the exam. Now you want to calculate the nth term of the sequence. The first thing is to identify कि वो sequence है कौन सा. अब यहाँ पे अगर मैं इसका first difference निकालूँ 10 minus 3 is 7. Second difference निकालूँ 21 minus 10 is 11. Now I immediately know that this is not an arithmetic sequence. Why? Because पहली दो terms का ही difference constant नहीं आया. अब 36 minus 21 is going to be 15. ठीक है. अब मैं second difference निकालती हूँ because it's not an arithmetic sequence. Let's try to see if this is a quadratic sequence or not. 11 minus 7 is 4. 15 minus 11 is also 4. So d2 over here is constant. That means this is a quadratic sequence. अब मैंने एक quadratic sequence की nth term निकालनी है. मेरे पास formula है nth term का. I'm going to plug in my values. So a is going to equal to 3, which is the first term of the sequence. d1 will equal to the second term minus the first term, which in this case is 7. ठीक है. 10 minus 3, which is 7. d2 आपके पास आपका constant difference है, which is 4, and you want to calculate the nth term. So the formula for the nth term is going to be a, which is 3, plus मैंने nth term निकालनी है, so I'm going to keep n as n. d1 की जगह 7 plus d2, which is 4 over 2 into n minus 1 into n minus 2. Again, I want to calculate the nth term, so I'm going to keep it as it is. 3 plus 7n minus 7 plus 4 over 2, 2 into n square. Then you're going to multiply n with minus 2. तो ये आपके पास हो जाएगा minus 2n, then minus n plus 2. Now, when you open the bracket, you will get 3 minus 7 plus 7n plus 2n square minus 3n plus 2, right? So 3 minus 7 is going to be minus 4 plus 7n plus 2n square minus 3 2s are 6n plus 4 this and this I can cancel out. I am left with 2n square. 7 minus 6 is plus 1 plus n, which is basically your nth term of this quadratic sequence. आप इसको check भी कर सकते हैं. Let's say I put n is equals to 4. So at n is equals to 4, my nth term is going to be 2 into 4 square plus 4, right? So 2 into 4 square plus 4, and you can calculate this. 2 into 16 plus 4, 16 2s are 32 plus 4, which is equal to 36, and you can see in our sequence that the fourth term is 36. So the formula that we calculated, or the expression that we calculated for the nth term, is correct. इसी तरह let's say you want to find the 25th term of the sequence. Now you already have the expression for the nth term. तो 25th के लिए आप क्या करेंगे? n is equals to 25 put कर देंगे, which will equal to 2 into 25 whole square plus 25, and when you calculate this you should get 1275 as your answer. Let's come to cubic sequences. Cubic sequences, as the name suggests, consist of cube numbers, और इस sequence में आपको usually n cube नज़र आएगा in any form, but n cube will be there, n raised to power cube. The most basic cubic sequence that you have is n cube, which is going to be 1, 8, 27, 64, 125. कैसे पता? When n is equals to 1 तो 1 cube हो जाएगा, which is 1. When is equals to 2 वो 2 cube हो जाएगा, which is 8. When n is equals to 3 वो 3 cube हो जाएगा, which is 27, and so on. For cubic sequences, you don't need to memorize a formula as such, but just remember that whenever you feel like there is a sequence which has cube numbers in it, try to work out an expression that has n cube in it. That's all you need to know for cubic sequences. Usually the questions give the sequence, the expression when it comes to cubic sequences.